Good evening and welcome, and thank you very much for joining me. I'm just checking I've got everything as I want it, and then we'll get on with it. Yeah. Yeah, that's correct. That's correct. That's correct. Right, we are right. Good evening and welcome. And thank you very much for joining me. Apart from that. Good evening, folks, I've already said, and welcome. And yes, we are going to, I'm just going to turn the other light on because the more light the better. There we go. Right. And tonight, just put this record player away. And just put this record player away. I forgot to put this away, folks. I forgot to put this away earlier. I've gone and left it out. I meant to put it away and I didn't. So we'll do that now. This is the Bush SRP 31. I was listening to some records on it earlier. So we'll just put this back away because that way I can get to my bench. Right. Ooh. There we go. Pop that there. Move that bin out of the way. Shift that auto slim. Put that on top of there for now. Right. Sorry about that. I thought I'd put it away and it sat there in front of me. Yeah, I completely forgot. These things happen. Let's face it, none of us is perfect. So what we'll do, we'll put the camera in position. There we go. Let me just slip back over here a second. Slide back over here a second because I just need to. There we are. There we go. Yep. Just checking that we're right. And there we go. Right, we're back on the good evening Phil, and good evening Nigel. Right, I think it's Nigel, isn't it? Looks like it. Yeah, I'm all the way over here now. Right, anyway. Well, bit of a frog in my throat there. Anyway, you've got to be careful where you cough these days. People think you've got coronavirus. Yeah, there we go. Anyway, never mind about that. Right, what we've got here, we've got the GARRARD. It needs a polish. Right, what the issue was with this is out of the GEC radiogram. And what I'll do, I'll show you what the issue was with it. I'll zoom in and I'll try and show you. Right, see if I can show you what the issue was with it. Might not be able to show you what the issue was. Let's lift the camera up a bit because you're not going to see me. There we are. Right, are we in position now? Yeah, if I get something to point with, let's get a screwdriver. Right, what the issue was, I've serviced all this, I've been through it. I didn't bother stripping it, there was no need. But what had happened was somebody had bent this here. Somebody had bent this bar, this lever, and what was happening was, when you put it into, the turntables fell off, because somebody's had the clip as well. I'll see if I can find one to fit it. So we'll drop the turntable back on. Anyway, I might have one in clips somewhere, I'll have to have a look. Right, basically, what was happening, when you put it into manual mode, now if I just go to auto mode for a second and switch the mechanism off, there we go, it'll switch off. In fact, actually I can plug this in. Just make sure we've got no wires trapped. No, we're okay. I can actually plug this in, I've got it connected to the safe block. Right, we'll put it on 45, just for argument's sake. Now on automatic with no record selected, it should just go through the motions and switch off. With a record selected, I've found a record. That one's no good, it's got no hole in it, it's got, oh yeah it is. Yeah, I can put one of these spiders in it. Put one of them in the middle of it. Right, basically if I put this on here now, that all the way down, start the mechanism, the stylus of this is probably knackered, but that's not a problem. Arm goes across, it misses a record, it will do, because it's probably out of adjustment. Get to the end, arm comes off, record player shuts off. It'll obviously turn the motor off, the mechanism off, there we go. Now, what it wasn't doing was, if you put it on manual, it's supposed to work completely differently. You pull the lever down as before, that only moves a little bit, the arm goes back down, and we can now move the arm, we're now in manual mode. So we can move the arm, and we can put it on the record. And it'll still come off at the end, but it won't switch off. It'll stay on, because that's what it's supposed to do. There we go. It'll only switch off if we choose to press the stop button, push the lever to stop, or we have it in automatic, we move that to automatic mode. So we'll go back to manual mode again. See that size bar just jitters to throw, but if we move it to automatic, see it goes all the way in. And let's zoom out a little bit, because I don't know whether you can see all that, and you probably can't. Let's come down a bit with the camera. Let's bring you down a bit, there we are. And I'll just give you another quick look. Now, lift that back onto the table, as it's called. Now go to automatic. It will drop the record, which it's supposed to do. It will go over. Then it will get to the end. It will come off. And it will switch off the mechanism. But as you notice, the record size flag indicator goes all the way over in automatic mode. Now we go to manual. We operate the mechanism in the same way. See, it just moves a little bit, flies back, and then drops the arm back down onto its rest, which it's supposed to do. Now the mechanism's in manual mode, so you can put the arm on the record, and you can bring it back, and you can turn it off if you want, and you can change speeds. Oops, there we go. You know, it doesn't like changing speeds with it on, but you can. Anyway, but if we go back to, see we stay on manual, that'll do that all night now. Ooh, there we are. We weren't dead on 45 there, that had you worried, didn't it? We weren't dead on 45. There's plenty of torque in that. Look, I have trouble stopping that. See, we do that all night and it won't stop. It won't shut off. It will just do, you know, it will just go, it will just sit there and do that until we either stop it by pressing that up or let it just run through. Or we move the switch to manual and then we can reject it. That control arm moves into the middle, for want of a better word, size control arm, and it switches off the mechanism. Right, the one thing we haven't tried on this, we haven't tested the cartridge to see if the cartridge is any good. You know, I've got a feeling it won't be, but they do usually pull off. This pulled off earlier. There we go. The stylus is all bent. Yeah, that stylus is all bent. It's probably knackered. And that's a 78 RPM one. That's probably knackered anyway. It's all corroded, so I would assume. I think this just pulls out, to be honest. And these stylus, yeah, they just pull out these. What we'll do, we'll bend that back into position. I think when you pull these out, I think the idea is you chuck them away. But we're not going to do that just yet. We're going to straighten it. So that we can put it back into the cartridge. But I've got a feeling the cartridge is probably goosed in this one, so we'll find out. Pop that back in. Yeah, they're easier to get in than they are to get out. They're easier to get out than they are to get in. I mean, there's a very good chance the cartridge is dead anyway, and it won't be getting rebuilt. See, I'm there. There we go. Right. Now that stylus is dead in the middle now, so let's see if the adjustment is still out. I want to find out, because if it is, I'll show you how to do the adjustment on this for the stylus point, the stylus set down point. So we're on auto. Record drops. I know it doesn't need adjusting, it's okay. So what we'll do, we will turn it off for a second. And we will get our cartridge. There. See which one, yeah, the two bottom wires it's using. Two bottom pins there. So what we'll do, we'll turn that power supply off, don't need that. Let's get our oscilloscope wire and we'll just check it with our oscilloscope. Just put my scope on here and I'll be surprised if this is working. No, there's a bit there, but nothing worth speaking about. Nothing worth writing home about. No, it's very little. Very little. So yeah, I had an idea it'd be knackered. So at least I've confirmed that the cartridge is knackered. So we'll need to find another cartridge to put in there. Which shouldn't be a great issue, but we'll leave that as it is for now. Oh. And putting that on there we go, can be a bit of a challenge. But the flag's broke off and it's turned the scope off. The cartridge is dead, so we don't need to worry about that too much. Let's take this record off and I'll show you what I've done under the turntable. Because yes, it hasn't all been on top, there's been a bit under there done as well. Lift the mat off, the turntable off itself. Now, what I've done under here, these two grommets here, you can't see me. Let me lift, let me just elevate you a little bit. Well, that's the wrong way. I think the battery in this is going flat. Yep, my battery's gone flat. So I can't lift you up because the battery's gone. And it's lighting up blue in there. It usually lights up red, so that's indicating that the battery's dead. So I'll have to try and zoom out. Do it this way then. I'll plug that in a few minutes and get it charged up. Now, what I actually did here, the original grommets, which were these, were actually knackered. They were no good. So what I did, I took the metal pins out of them, metal dowels, and what I did, I went through my box and I found two grommets that fit perfectly here, but they were only yay deep. They were only yay deep, but they were right circumference. So what I did, I've got an Auto Slim, which isn't in use at the moment, and what I did, I pinched the grommets off it, two of them, and they were still good. And what I've done, I've put one here and one here and put the nuts and bolts and pins back through, and it's gone up lovely. I mean, it probably could do with a bit more, but it's working anyway. You know, the motor, the motor the motor doesn't really move as much as I'd like it to. You know, I mean, on the back there we've got a bit of suspension, but on this one we haven't. So what I might do, I might well, actually I could just disconnect it from the safe block because it's in the way, pull that out of there, that out of there. That's turned off and it's safe. Now what I'm going to do now, I'm going to take one at a time off, and I've actually got some small grommets which are here, and I might have to cut them down, but I'm going to take one off at a time and do it just to give a bit more suspension to the motor, because I just think it could do with a bit of suspension, and I think by doing this it'll do the job. I had to save something for a video tonight, didn't I? You know, there we go. That might be too thick. Yeah, so we need to just pop the nut back on a second so we don't lose, so it all doesn't fall to bits, and I can lay that back down for a second. And what I can do here now, which one of these is the softest? Well, that one's actually smaller, so I wonder if I can use that one but then try and find another one the same size. I mean, because that could do with being a bit it's too thingy. Just pop the nut back on for a second, and what we'll do, we'll cut the grommet in half, and that we'll use a slightly bigger one, will we? Yeah, we'll use a slightly bigger one. That should give us the right size. And all we do here, it's all down to just giving it a bit of a shove, making sure you don't cut your fingers off. If you have a funny disposition, do this under supervision. But remember, where's that gone? It's not rolled off onto the floor, so that's good, because we need the washer as well. We'll find that. We need to find that because we need it. It's not rolled off onto the floor, that is for certain. It rolled off onto this table, onto this bench. There it is. Hey, things drop on my floor, they're gone forever. So that goes there, and I don't think we'll get the washer on. Do you know, I hate it when things don't go as planned, and I meant to say panned, not planned. I don't like it the way you get things, they don't pan out as they should. But that is actually, so if I undo the next one, and that way we'll have a bit more suspension, hopefully. It doesn't matter if we don't, the thing's got springs in it, but, and so I say that's bent, but it's not tight. So we'll lift that off there, the nut, and lift the washer out. Get our other piece, push it into there, and that piece I think might be a bit too big because it's got a lip on it. So I'm going to try and no, we've done it. We've got it on. Watch it go ping and go all over the place. And it won't. Now what we'll do, tighten this up. We've even got the washer on there as well. Well, that's got a bit of suspension in it now. That's not bad. So what we'll do is tighten this one in. I could feel the motor vibrating through the motor board, through the... That's it. See if we're straight. Oh, we are, we're lovely. Yeah. So that's actually better. Oh, yeah. That's actually better. So what we'll do, we'll put the turntable back on. Pull the start lever down a little bit so that the brake moves out of the way so the turntable can engage where it needs to. Put the wires back into the safe block and we'll see if we get any vibration through the deck. I mean, we're probably bound to get a little bit, I mean, but I thought what was there before was a bit excessive. There we go, and there's that's still live. Slam that down. There we go. Oh, hang on. Yeah, it's right. I thought I put it in the earth then. I haven't. Right. Whoops. That's not too bad now. That's actually not as bad. Yeah, you can still feel it, but nowhere near. Yeah, that's good enough. Right, I'll have a look at the chat, because to all intents and purposes that's done. I mean, there's nothing really else I can do or say about it. I mean, it's, and like I say, I didn't strip it because it wasn't bad enough to strip. If it was seized up and everything looked solid, then I would have done, but just because it was a bit thingy, I didn't see the point. It was all dry and needed lubricating, and that's all it's had. Who have we got? We know we've got Phil. Let's go back up to the top and I'll come down. Right, and yeah, Philip, we've got Phil. Good evening, Phil, as I've already said. Good evening, Nigel Williams from Cardiff. Good evening, sir. Andy Mouse, 123. Good evening, Andy. I hope you're okay. He's from Sussex. Everybody's told us where they're from tonight. Nigel Williams, oh, is that Bakelite? The head shell is Bakelite, but the rest of the arm is cast aluminium, and the pieces of trim that tell you what the controls are, they're Bakelite, and I think the switch tops are probably Bakelite as well. The control tops, they're probably Bakelite. Good evening, Love Egg. But just the head shell, Nigel, just the head shell's Bakelite, the rest of it's aluminium. GARRARD, to be honest, GARRARD used very little plastic or that sort of anything to do with Bakelite or plastics. They use very little of it in any of their machines. And they certainly never ever used a plastic turntable platter. Never. I've never seen one, so therefore I can honestly say, I can say with certainty, they never ever made a plastic platter in any of their decks, from the cheapest to the most expensive. They always put a metal platter on. Well, you should click the bell, love egg, and then you should get the notifications, mate. But it doesn't matter whether you're late. It's, you know, the fact that you turn up at all, you know, that's fine. You have a bottle of dandelion and burdock, and a peppermint arrow. Oh, lovely. For your viewing pleasure. Yeah, more like chewing pleasure. Yeah. I wish I knew where you lived, Andy Mouse. I'd come and mug you for it. And love egg saying no cheese. Nope. And avoid the spring-loaded traps. Yeah, you got to watch those traps. Yeah, Nigel Williams is saying can't beat spare parts if you can find them. No, well, that's it. You see, you should always keep your spares. Never throw anything. Good evening, Kevin. Hope you're good, mate. And I think that's Nigel replying to me there, saying that the head shell was Bakelite and the rest of the arm is cast. And the one-piece arms that GARRARD did for the similar unit, they were cast aluminium all the way through. I thought they were Bakelite actually at one time. I actually thought they were Bakelite until I had a really good look and noticed that they weren't, because they do look like Bakelite, but they're not. Yeah, I am an amateur radio operator, but I don't have any of the gear in the workshop. The gear's in the dining room, or what most people might call a shack, because that's where the radio lives. But I've got some CB radios in here, but they're getting moved. There's a York 861 there that's getting worked on. I might come back and do a separate live video on that in a bit, because it's only early, and I've finished with the GARRARD 121H now. I've finished with that now. That's done, and that's ready to go back into its radiogram, and the radiogram won't be getting done. Hey, we've got 2 dislikes. Yeah. What gets me is if they don't like it, don't watch. Don't come in. If you don't like it once, don't come in there. Simple, isn't it? No, I don't do Morse. You know, people often argue with me on this point, but I'm always gonna be right, no matter how you look at it. As soon as the microphone was invented, Morse became obsolete. Because the only reason why Morse had to exist is because there was no microphones. Otherwise, it would never have been taken up. No, I'm not into Morse. I've tried it. Don't get me wrong, and I did do a Morse assessment. It's not part of the exam these days, but I did do the Morse assessment. And the instructor says to me, Bernard at Stockport Radio, he said the next time you use it, it'll be in anger. I says, I'll never use that again. Well, that's it, Nigel. That's true, mate. Yeah, that's very, very, very true. It's something that you either want to do or something that you don't. It's like I've got friends who do competitions, and that's pretty much all they do. You know, just look for contacts all over the place, and that's, you know, that's what I don't like to do. I like to get on the radio and have a good chew of the rag with somebody. You know, get on and maybe get a net going or something, and have a good chew of the rag, and pass the mic about and whatnot. But you know, some people are into competitions, other people are into morse. It's, you know, no matter how you look at it, you know, it's all part of the same hobby. I'm not knocking any part of it. You know, it's yeah, it's what you want to do. It's what suits your purpose, really. You know, good evening, Chris. I could do a video on building a PSU. I could, but I probably never will. I mean, there's not really any need to build a PSU, is there? You know, there's not really any need. Yeah, it is personal choice, Nigel. I probably won't do a video building a PSU because there's not really any need these days for anybody to build a PSU. I mean, when I need a PSU, I just order one. You know, it's simple. It's easier. Hello, Chris. Good to see you on, my friend. We've got things working properly now. We're in high definition, and yeah, I watched a tutorial about this program I downloaded, this OBS. I watched a tutorial on it, and the guy that did the tutorial was brilliant. You know, he just walked you through it dead easily, and I just set it up as per his instructions, and that's, you know, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna run it as that now because the picture's clear, the sound's okay. I don't actually have an issue with anything. 12 people watching. Hey, there's plenty of people there. Let's see what I'm actually streaming now, Chris. I'm actually streaming at 1080p, and you know, the internet isn't even feeling it. I mean, I've got a little indicator on here which turns a different colour if it's under any strain. It goes orange. If it's under strain, if it drops, it goes orange, and if it goes off, it goes red, I think. But when it's green, it means it's good, and it's never changed colour yet. So, you know, and I've got a few frames dropping. It's actually dropped 12 frames all the time I've been on, which is not bad. You know, I've been on now for what? I've been on for... My eyes are getting bad. I wish my bank manager would go blind. I've been on for 40 minutes and it's dropped 12 frames, and it dropped those pretty much. I put some pictures of some old radios on at the beginning, and just to try and spice it up a little bit, and I think you know, you know, it's now, you know, you know, and I think it'll drop them frames during the transition from them to the actual live video. But I'm actually you know, I'm actually getting a bit more inspired to actually get more creative. I'm thinking of making some titles and stuff, you know, but funny ones, you know, like, you know, I don't know, I'll think of something, you know, some just funny, just, you know, but not like certain people putting my name in everything, like, you know, I'll put video by Sony because it's a Sony camera I use. You know, lighting by the gas board because I get me gas, that sort of thing, you know. I'm thinking of making a title screen up, sort of like a montage screen, and putting that sort of stuff on, just for a bit of a laugh and as a bit of an introduction when I work out how to do it. Well, it was Mildred's gram, but it isn't anymore because I'm gonna buy it from him. So I'm ending up with it. So, you know, I'm gonna end up with it. So no, it won't be his. It'll be mine. Yeah, that deck's done. That's done. The chassis. That probably won't get done until we get back from Goulburn, because I'll pick up an N78 audio pentode from Goulburn when I go. I mean, they're only a £5 on eBay, but you know, at least if you buy a brand new old stock one from Goulburn, you know it's a brand new old stock one, because the guys there, they're all honest with you. You know. You know, they don't nail your hat on, so... do I have any video editing? I have, yes. I have. I've got a couple of programs. I've got Sony Vegas, and I've got a little program called, I think it's called AVS. And that AVS, it used to be free, but it isn't anymore. You have to pay for it. But... I cracked it. Well, somebody cracked it, and I downloaded it, and it came with a crack, so I just added a crack, and I use that occasionally. But I don't really edit my videos, Chris, as most people are aware. You know, I don't really edit anything, and that's why I don't really mind coming on and doing it live. In fact, I'd rather come on and do it in a live situation. Oh well, if I need any pointers, I know who to ask. It's good to know that, Chris. It's you know, if I need any pointers, you know, I'll be in touch, because I've not really used Sony Vegas, but I am going to put a sort of montage together, and that'll come on before, you know, just ahead of my live stream. And just to make it a bit more interesting, and a bit more, add a bit of professionalism to it. You know, I don't, Chris, and you know, I just don't, because you know, I can use you know, I know my way around the AVS software, no problem. I can do it with that, but I just choose not to. I mean, I don't even edit my farts out. Mind you, wouldn't be much of a video left, would there? You know, I've not really done many recently. You know, I'm getting the idea. I'm beginning to get the feeling that people are fed up of listening to me Trump, and Donald Trump's no longer in power. So, you know, it defeats the whole object on that one. So I just tend not to bother now. The odd one pops out. We can't help that. You know, you eat your fart. It's as simple as that. But as you know, as most people know, I tend not to edit. You know, my videos go out as you see them, and that's why I don't mind doing it. You know, and that's why I don't mind doing live, because if I do it live, it saves a whole lot of time, because you get the video quicker, and it means, you know, not only do you get the video quicker, I don't have to mess about and upload it. You know, because it's going up as I'm doing it. You know, like this video now, it's getting there as I'm doing it, and I don't have to lift a finger. All I have to do is sit and talk to you guys and lasses, and you know, get on with the job. You know, but there'll be another video coming up after this. I'll be ending this feed in a minute, but there will be another one coming up, because I'm not going to start on a CB radio in the same video as a record deck, because I just don't think that's right. And I would rather, well, I could do, I suppose, but you know, I'm not a lover of having two things in the same video. It's a bit like, that's a bit like them World War II pies, isn't it? You know, where, you know, you got fruit and meat in the same crust. It had a divider in the middle of it, so the two never met, you know, and it's just unnatural, isn't it? You know. No, I know you don't edit yours, Benji. I've watched a few of your videos, and you can tell. You can tell people when people edit their videos. No matter how well they do them, you can tell. You know, you just know that somebody does it. You just know that they've edited it. But there's nothing wrong with editing. I mean, if people want to edit, then yeah, absolutely. I've edited. I think I edited one edited one about 2 or 3 weeks ago. And the reason why I edited it, I had no choice. I left the camera running. You know. Yeah, during World War Two, Chris. Because things were in such short supply and there wasn't as much fruit and meat to go about. What people did, they made a pie and they put a divider down the middle of it, and they put fruit in one side and meat in the other, or whatever they had. Maybe next door neighbour's cat. It's a well-known fact that during World War Two, a lot of cats disappeared off the streets of Britain. But yeah, that was true that about the pies. They used to, it was to basically fill the pie up. Yeah, that's right. Cornish pasties did have a divider, yes, because there was something in one side. I mean, we're talking about proper Cornish pasties here, not those things that you get from Greg's. A proper Cornish pasty. They did have a divider in them because you had your meat in one side and you did. If I'm right in thinking, love egg, I think your dessert was in the other side. I think that, and it's the same idea. They probably got the idea for doing pies like that from Cornish pasties. But yeah, you check your pie, Nigel. But when all said and done, things were in such short supply. I mean, we think we're struggling now because a few lorry drivers won't go to work. And I say, well, I'm not going to get onto it too much, but back during the war, from 1939 to 1956, when I think it was 1956 when rationing finally ended, people had it tough. And I know people that went through the war. My mother was one of them. She was a child during the war. She was a war baby, my mother. She was a kid during the war. And, she was born in 1935 or 1936 or something. And, people did have it hard. They really did. They did. It was really tough back then, and we don't know how lucky we really are. I mean, we don't have to worry about whether we've got enough meat to fill a pie when we bake one. We can have as much meat as we want. We don't have to worry about any of that. It's but back then they did. But they got through it. They all mucked in together and they got through it, which was a tremendous achievement. I've every respect for our old people that went through the war, and they came out smelling the roses on the other side. Absolutely, yeah. But back onto electronics. The thick crust on the edges. Yeah, it was just to hold the Cornish pasty. That's very true. You weren't supposed to eat it. I mean, I would have done. I would have done. Absolutely. Because I don't like throwing nothing away. So I would have eaten it. But yeah, it was because they had dirty fingers, wasn't it? Because they were down coal mines, so they could. But yeah, I think there was meat in one side of them, and the dessert, whatever it was. I'm not really sure what that stuff is they put in a Cornish pasty. It tastes nice, but I don't know what it is. I've probably stepped in it a few times as well. But, you know, I don't know what it is. But yeah, I had a couple of Cornish pasties off Mildred, and you know, they're not proper Cornish pasties, are they? Because proper Cornish pasties are massive, and they, like you say, they have a divider in there. I think one side's for the dessert, and the other side's for the meat and taters and stuff that went in there. You know, it was, you know. It just shows you how ingenious and resourceful the British nation really is when it comes to that. I mean, we gave the world many things, including smallpox. You know, but seriously, all joking apart, we gave the world many things. And hey, oh, my phone's just gone ping. I've probably got an email. Let's have a look. It's either an email or a message. Hey, has Harvey not been back on tonight? He was on this afternoon. I was talking to him as well on Facebook. Oh, Harvey's saying I misheard him earlier. He said old radios. It said the old radios were either powered by AC or DC batteries. Yeah. We had a chat about that, and I did mishear him. Yeah. eBay wants me to send feedback, and Ed China has put a video up. I'll have to watch that later, because I don't only watch electronics. I watch other things as well. You know, I watch other things as well. I'm very broad-minded. I've got a very broad taste in what I want to watch, and just so that you don't think the picture that the system's actually gone belly up, or even tits up for that matter. I'm still here. I can't turn you round to see me because the battery's gone flat in the remote control tripod, so I need to plug that in a bit and recharge it, because it's gone flat. That is, I don't mean the battery itself's gone flat. It's not flattened out. It's just run out of power. But you all know that. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to end this video here. Let scraps out. Probably make a brew and have a pee. Not in that order. Have a pee first, I think. And I'll get set up, and we'll have a look at this CB radio. I know Chris did some videos on CB radios. All the gear, no idea. He did some. That Chris who's on here, he did some videos on CB radios, and I thought they were quite entertaining because he's not really a CB radio person. Correct me if I'm wrong, Chris, but I think your forte is test instruments. I think I heard you mention something about it once, that you're really into them. You know, yeah, I did see you do a couple of radios, a couple of CBs that you got from the Radio Cruncher. You know, but yeah, we've got the York 861 up there, which has got an issue. It won't transmit, so we're going to look at that and see if we can get it to transmit. It receives. We established that last night. We established that it receives. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to end this feed here, folks. I will say goodbye briefly, but I will be back in about 10 or 15 minutes, because I'm going to get sorted out and then get set up for the next project, and we'll come back on with the York 861 no transmit problem, and see if we can get to the bottom of that and sort it out. Yeah, that's what I thought, Chris. I mean, are you watching Shampoo? Like, what's Shampoo? Anyway, yeah, I know you'll have a go at anything, but I know your thing is oscilloscope and test instruments and things. You know, I know you like to mess with those do those sort of things. You know, Nigel had some old taxi radios ready to be converted to, or had some old taxi radios ready to be converted to 2 meters, or as I call it, 2 liters. Did I get you? Did I get your email? I didn't, but I'll have a look on when I go on. Oh, are you asking? Oh, you're asking Benji. Did he get your email? You're asking. No, I thought that was directed at me. That wasn't. That was directed. That was between a little bit of discourse between Benji and Chris. Anyway, listen, chaps and ladies. I'm going to disappear for about 10 or 15 minutes. I'm going to get myself a brew or something, and I'm going to go to the lavatory before I turn my trousers into a portable sewage plant. And I'm going to get the bench cleared off. I'm going to get that CB down, and we'll get a test. We'll break out a test meter and a capacitor tester, and we'll go around, and even we'll even break out a transistor checker. Well, the transistor checker's already broke out because it was never put away from last night, and we'll go around that and see if we can diagnose it. I mean, it was working and then it suddenly stopped, so whatever it is, it can't be a lot. But I know it's not the PLL, because I replaced the PLL when I first got the radio. I'll explain all that on that video. I'm going to make a move, folks, and get sorted, and I shall catch you in a bit. And thank you very much for joining me. Join me again in about 15-20 minutes or so when I get sorted out. Bye for now, folks, but only briefly.